Hello, my name is Georgiana Iulia Crecescu, and welcome to a new interview which takes part in the initiative called How You Can Become a Leader. As some of you might already know, this initiative helps people to understand their strengths and motivate them to set up realistic plans to become leaders. The initiative started with a written blog article, and now it is followed by several video interviews with leaders from Micro Focus, now OpenText organization. Today, for this episode, I would like to say hello to Allyson Towle, who is part of the Micro Focus, now OpenText organization, and who will talk about leadership. Thank you, Allyson, for being part of this initiative, and hope you will be actually enjoying this interview together with me today.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Before we start with several questions I prepared for you for today, can you please say a few words about yourself, Allyson?
Sure. So I live in Johannesburg in South Africa. I live with my two girls, as I call them, which are my two rescue dogs, Angel and Everest. I also have a rescue, they call them off-the-track thoroughbreds or ex-racehorse, and his name is Falafel. So living in South Africa, I get to spend a lot of time outside. I spend time riding, walking the dogs, mountain biking. Yeah, and basically when I'm not working, that's where I am.
So that's very nice and interesting, Allyson. So thank you for this quick introduction. So to start the interview, I would like to ask you to help us to understand more on what motivated you to step up and become a leader in the organization. So tell us a bit more, Allyson.
Sure. So I think the main reason why one would want to step up into a leadership position isn't always just about being a leader of a group of people. I think it's important to be aware that you can be a leader in any position that you choose to take, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have people reporting to you. It just means that you are showing value as a leader, which means that people essentially want to follow you because you are able to project the right elements of yourself to other people, and also are able to inspire other people to want to show their best as well and to excel. My roles have varied substantially across the years, and at one point I was a leader in the traditional sense of over 60 people as the managing director of an international organization, which is very different, obviously, to being a leader in my current position, which purely requests or asks that I excel. I do my best. I excel in what I do, and that I'm willing to take people on that journey as well, you know, from a mentoring perspective, but also, you know, that people can see value in what you have to offer.
So thanks a lot, Allyson, for that and for these impressive insights. So on the other side, what I was actually trying to understand, because you've pointed out that you were having several roles with leading people, right, through the years. So one of the question, because when you have a lot of responsibilities, right, it might be as well the challenge that we have there, that we are confronting at sometimes some barriers. So my question is more related to understand what has been the most significant barrier in your career.
I would say there are probably two barriers that I would put forward as significant, and most importantly are the barriers that we create for ourselves. So those are the ones where we don't believe in our own capabilities. We don't put ourselves forward for new challenges. You know, we don't handle situations that may require us to really show our better selves in an environment. We rather stand down than actually step up. So I think that if I had to choose one barrier, that would be the main one. And then secondly, to be perfectly honest, the other barrier that I've really experienced is actually other female managers. So female managers in positions of leadership. I use that word loosely because I think essentially they're managing, not leading. You know, we as women often have our own, you know, we have our own biases, if I can put it that way, not ones that are created by others, ones that are created by ourselves. And we tend to feel like we need to show some sort of level of power over other women in a working environment. And I would say that of the two barriers, that is another area that I've really found to be something as a lesson learned as well. You know, we need to be supportive, we need to share knowledge, and we need to, you know, bring that other people, we need to care, we need to bring other people along on the journey.
Mm-hmm. And on the other side, Allyson, I'm quite curious to know if you have ever been afraid on the job, right? Because you were actually facing maybe some barriers. But what about this aspect, right? Have you ever been afraid to do your job or doing things at your job?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that a person is often afraid, but it's often because we feel incompetent. Right. So it's usually those places where we feel like we don't have the skills, we aren't good enough, we're in an environment where we feel uncomfortable, that those actually become the areas where we are most afraid. And, you know, again, if I had to say afraid, like literally fearful, the only time I've really been fearful was when I had to stand on a stage 3,000 people with an international speaker. I think I was introducing Edward de Bono to a large audience. And yes, during that time I was scared, but we learn from it, right? And to be honest, I've learned that standing up in front of people, as long as you know what you're talking about, you project yourself properly, you're okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and on the other side, Allyson, when you are actually talking, I see that you have a lot of passion in what you are actually doing, right? One of the other things that I wanted to understand a bit more is how you balance your career, personal life, and passions, and if there is such a thing as a balance.
Yeah, balance is probably not 100% correct, but maybe we're talking a 40-60 balance, maybe. And and to be honest, the only way to do it is to actually do it. You've got to take the time. I'm a strong proponent of exercise and, you know, fresh air. And I feel that I do my job better if I have those elements in my life. So that's how I balance those. I diarize them. I put them into my diary and they're there for everybody to see. You know, I'm out of the office. This is what I'm doing. And if I don't do those, I definitely know that I'm a lot less pleasant a person for not having done it. And I think that's how one creates balance. But I do understand that actually it's difficult. Not everybody is like me, who just really has to be at home, look after the dogs, ride a horse, that there are others that have other responsibilities as well, and it can be difficult. And it's important to take the time to put that time in the diary and do it, just do it, because there's no coming back from not having given time to the things that are important in life.
Yeah, and on the other side, Allyson, because I have for you the final question for today's interview. I was actually looking to understand from your side if you can actually give perspective and the feedback to a woman, right, to a young woman who is actually looking to start her career. What advice you should actually give to her? So tell me a bit more about that.
Sure, thanks, Gio. I wrote these down so that I didn't forget. So number one, I said forget the stereotypes. So don't put yourself into a box. Others might want to do that, but if you support them in that effort, then you are going to get stuck in a stereotyped box, right? Be your best self, show up, support each other. So that is each other, male, female, support your colleagues. Take on challenges. So if challenges are offered to you, even if you are scared or afraid, take on the challenge and you will grow and learn through the experience. And don't beat yourself up for making mistakes, because if you don't take risks and make mistakes, you actually don't learn. And we are in an environment where we can do that. I mean, yes, don't make mistakes that are so substantial that they affect the business detrimentally, but be willing to take risks within your career ambit so that you can then learn and challenge yourself. But I think also most importantly, you need to love what you do. So yeah, take that message, and yeah, love what you do is vitally important. It adds the passion.
So yeah, Allyson, so I really enjoy what you have actually shared. So I think that it's always about passion and enjoy what we are actually doing. And I'm really with you 100% here under this code. On the other side, Allyson, thank you very much for these insights. With that, we are actually at the end of this interview. And I hope that through the experience that we have shared today, having Allyson as a speaker, we inspired a few people, and hope some of you already wish to become leaders. Thank you again, Allyson, for being part of this initiative, and thank you to everyone that are actually watching the interview. Stay tuned, a new episode will be released soon. So thanks again, Allyson, and take care.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Gio.